Yeah, hi, Tehon. Then
No, you're not gonna call me Dehone and think that I'm gonna be cats be killing me. Bah! What's going on? I want to get my girl Gina in the building. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Want to get my guest in here in just a second. Starts in 1 minute. She gonna be coming in, Miss Gina Gordon Lopez. I will make sure I say that way because I don't want to. Uh, them women is about their last name. You got to make sure you put their last name in it. What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's having a great Monday. And I hope that we are doing everything we can to keep you going. We are live. Let me just tell you right now, we are live on a number of platforms. And so want to make sure Miss Gina gets in. Where is she at? Is she in the building? Well, she's not in the building yet. She'll be coming in. Today, man, we're going to talk a little bit about mental health and really what's been going on with COVID and how to help our student athletes, man, in this time. I want to really, really be a blessing to these young men, and I want to make sure these young men and women want to make sure that they are part of this whole thing, and making sure that they know that you have people who are with them. You know what I mean? Who really rocking with them. As far as this thing goes, it's a very trying time. It's a very a tough time for a lot of student athletes, and it's different. And I think a lot of times people have believed that they were going to be past it. We will be past this by now. And so I want to make sure that that parents have an opportunity to hear from somebody who works in a field that their kid can be helped and really, really be a part of that process of their kid being helped. And that, as far you may see signs of different things, and she's gonna go on and talk a little bit about those things. And so I want to make sure that we all are we're good, that we have some different outlets and things that people are going to be able to really listen to somebody who works in this field. She is, I want to get it. Want to get it here. Want to get her on here. I'm just having some. She is a licensed educational psychiatrist, so I want to make sure that psychologist. We'll make sure that she when she comes on, we make sure we give her. So get your questions ready. Anything that you feel like it might be something that you have some things you might be seeing in your kid that's not normal. We can really we're gonna be to ask Gina. We're gonna ask Gina like what can we do? What's going on? How do we work with this situation? Okay, so I want to make sure that those are things that we do today. So wait for Miss Gina Lopez. I cannot see today right now who's on, but let me make sure because I'm not getting that. Let me see. Let me see. I usually get it on my feed. I want to make sure people can see it. People are on, man. Like where y'all at? Where y'all at today? So a lot of different stuff. The 1 o'clock show. The 1 o'clock show. We're gonna be talking a lot about. We're gonna be talking a lot about. There it is. I see Armand Hawkins is on there. Uh, good morning, fam. Good morning. Good morning. Armand said something, but I don't see where he said it at. So Ron's on there. Ty's on there. Did she have the wrong? Yeah, hold on. Let me. Yeah. So let me send her another link. Sending to email now. Yeah, man. Because this, see how the devil don't want y'all to go. What's up, OG? Uh, they don't. That was something else, man. He really don't want you to have this information. Copied it. I'm gonna put it over here. So, man, a lot of football games. My Cowboys lost. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and tell we lost to the. Sierra is the factor. You can't function when Sierra's in the building. I know what it is. My team focus is off. Sierra's up there singing my goodies and all that, and these dudes is losing it. They can't function right. I know what it is. I know what it is. So let me get Miss Gina on here. Bear with me. Because I think it's some great news, great stuff to talk about. In the 1 o'clock hour, we are going to talk about LSU, Mississippi State, Oklahoma. Got a lot of kids from the West Coast on these teams, and I'm just gonna talk about it. I'm gonna be real. Like, y'all didn't go way out there to lose. Some of y'all didn't go way out there to lose like that, like y'all did. Some cats, y'all didn't go way out there to be losing to the Mike Leach. Y'all better tell the truth. They're way out there to lose to Mike Leach and LSU, and all I done heard is we didn't have, and we didn't have, and we didn't have. You had enough to score 40-some points. I know that. How much y'all want to bet? Shoot, y'all had enough. We didn't have our guys. I'm hearing all kind of excuses. We didn't have this dude, and we didn't have this dude, and no. Nope. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I ain't trying to hear it. Yeah, he was trying, and he was trying, man. Come on, man. Y'all okay. Okay. Let me find this. Hold on, man. I couldn't get to my boy Gina. Don't worry about it. I'm coming right now. I feel like Martin. I'm coming, Gina. I'm about to tell you. Yeah. HU grad. Got it. 94 at got it. I just sent it. It's crazy, man. I know y'all gonna talk trash. It's a given. It's a given. It's a given that you guys are gonna. It's a given that you guys are gonna talk trash about my Cowboys. There it is. Can't wait. What's up, Coach? Coach, I think I need you there, Miss Gina. Welcome, everybody, Miss Gina. Let me cut this down. Miss Gina.
Yay!
She made it in the building today. How you doing? Welcome to the Streets Tape. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I am awesome. How was your weekend, my sister?
It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful.
So you know, I did a bad thing. I missed the last crab boy you had, and you invited me so lovely at the park. And right now, doing social distancing, my birthday's coming in December, and I just want to put a hint out. And maybe you might want to do another one. How about that?
Man, as soon as all this dies down, we're gonna have the crab boil to end all crab boils.
All right, cause see, I'll be 50, and I need y'all to go ahead and I need y'all to make sure that the crab boil is on point.
When is your birthday?
December 10th.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So we'll be 50 on the same day.
See, so that's 100. So we gotta have 100, at least 100 crab to ourselves. I mean, 100. So we the same day, December 10th, man. We got it. We got it. We good.
Right.
But I want to. I think this week is the week that I really want to on my show. I really want to talk a little bit about. I really want to help the kids. And me and you talked, and we talked about this, and we got some ideas going, and I want people to be able to really chime in and be a part of this, so they can really ask the questions, or maybe, I don't know, kind of see where people are, because you deal with a lot of people.
Yes.
I want to make sure. And I'm gonna let you say it, because I always want to be psychiatrist, psychologist. I'll be all over the place. I want to make sure everybody know you are a licensed educational psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here in the Kern High School District, Bakersfield, California, but you deal with people, and no better person to have on to talk about it. And so I was talking to you about a lot of the athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And being at home during this time since March, February for a lot of these kids. What and I asked, I said, what do you like? I'm seeing all kinds of stuff. My son, it's not a regular I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a regular I'm bored. It's really like he bored, but he it's almost like he got some anger in there. I'm like, well, I can't do nothing about it. Like, so like we talked about with parents and what people can be doing. Like, what are you seeing, and we'll get to alternatives, but what are you seeing, and what could you say to like parents that are watching, like what could they be doing, to help with their kids? Because there's a lot of people out there going, I was talking to people yesterday, and they were just like, man, frustrated. Parents, teachers, frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
This is out of hand. We've been in here too long.
Yes.
It's what do we do? What direction do we go? What do you see? Do you distinguish between athletes and just regular students, or is it just?
Oh, definitely, especially athletes that are in secondary education. That 9-12. First off, what is really important to really take into consideration first is the emotional process that is happening right now for these kids.
Okay.
The everything that goes into their identity of who they are is based upon that sport.
Yeah.
That is what. Well, yeah, it's how they identify, how they walk around, how they're acknowledged.
Uh-huh.
It's just truly a function of who they are. And when you take away all of that reinforcement that comes to that title and that
Right.
being and that belonging, and you replace it with what? Excuse me.
Gotcha.
What do they have right now to fill that void? And they're struggling. They're absolutely struggling to fill that void. And so, from a parent aspect, from a coach's aspect, it's how do you, through innovative thinking,
Yeah.
replicate as much as possible that connectivity and that identity and instill hope, because when you've gone through, the Pop Warner, the Golden Empire, all the club sports, the parents putting in so many dollars into that payout.
Chime in and right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
that payout that you're seeking, which is that scholarship.
Yeah.
I'm investing all of our time, our resources, everything into that next level thing. And now I don't see it. I don't see it coming together. All of these things are supposed to be occurring. So there becomes a grieving,
Mhm.
there becomes a sense of hopelessness.
I want you to talk about that, because that was really, really Friday when you said that to me. I was like, whoa. I didn't really think the kids were grieving,
Yeah.
because you always think grieving, you think they're like, but they've had to go through that. I was telling you, Friday would have been game 5 for a lot of people, or game 4, whatever it was. And now you get to Friday night and it's like, there's no sound of the band, there's no smell of the grass, there's no nachos, there's all these things that you are normally dealing with on a regular basis.
Yes.
They're gone now. And
A
you're
deep
like,
sense of loss. Just a
right,
loss.
right. And so now you're sitting back going, when you said grieving, I'm like, is that what they're doing? When I got kids who, I get the regular video game, don't come out the room, when you get the new game that everybody's been waiting on. But
Hmm.
when you don't come out the room just but to eat, use the bathroom, and go right back in there and close the door, it's like, okay, that's not my kid. You know what I mean? Like, that's not. And you were like grieving, like, wow. Like, I don't know if parents really, really think about that from that aspect, that your kid is grieving because they're missing something that they're used to having.
Hmm. And
It's
not only just having, but also again who they are.
right, right,
Wearing that jersey every Friday or that
right,
shirt and tie every Friday.
right.
What does that represent when I walk on campus and people see me with that? You know,
Wow.
and you
I'm
know,
I'm sitting here and I'm like, dang, the little stuff,
mhm,
just stuff that parents like argue about with people and say, okay, I wish we had, there's something about a kid just being on the team,
yes,
whether they play or not,
yeah,
they
yeah,
just get to wear the jersey, they're part of
yes.
the team, and
And
not
what,
have
yeah,
that how far that takes their kid. I
mm-hmm,
remember a few years ago at BHS, we had a guy, really big guy. When I say he didn't talk, and then when we would break the huddle and it'd be a drillers, or I remember him one day just in the process of something. It was like the first time I'd heard him talk in like 7 months of being out at football.
mm-hmm,
But it was that, and he wasn't the star of the team, what is it? But it was that place where he felt like he could yell, he could
yeah,
say something. And I
mhm,
was like, okay. So hearing you say that is like, wow, I could think of accounts where people's personality uh are so connected with that.
yeah,
It is. It is. And I told you, and I may have told the story to people here, knowing Joey Porter here in Bakersfield, being here with him when he retired,
mm-hmm,
but watching him battle through retirement, if he
yeah,
was going to do it or not. My kids were working out with his kids one day, and we had a conversation. And I don't think, anybody, it was just a regular conversation with me and him. And he was like, man, I had to wrap my mind around not playing anymore, I've been doing this for so long. And it was as simple as, D, I ain't been home in August before. Like, I've never been home in August. And I'm
Wow.
like, I've been home in August. It was a long night. Like, I'm home while everybody's at training camp. So to watch this guy go through retirement, and now you're dealing with a kid 16,
Hmm.
that in his short life, he's only been doing that 8 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Years of his life. That's all I know,
Hmm.
like, you took the video game, you took my phone. So I mean, so I love that. I was looking for a pen. I'm going, what can we do? I want to give people ideas of alternatives and fillers to say, okay, if Friday night meant you went to In and Out, because my sons, that's all they talk about. After the game, everybody's going to In and Out, right? They're going. I think you brought up the marketplace.
Yeah. Just seeing those kids out there um, creating their own opportunity to congregate, even though it wasn't quite what it should have been as far as with COVID and infections and things, but they found their way there to do what they do to connect. And
Okay.
so how can adults create a space of connectivity
Okay.
that's a safe space and something that's meaningful for these student athletes? And
Okay.
again, it comes with innovation and creativity, and also acknowledging that nothing is going to take the place of the intensity that you feel at the Friday night lights.
Got
Whether it's the band or color guard, they feel it too, the excitement. Um, the volleyball play, just everyone, and recognizing that you won't have that level of intensity, but then again, it's the connectivity and the identity and also the goal setting.
right.
Because when kids are not seeing the end to something, they begin to do this internal downward spiral,
Okay.
this inward spiraling, downward spiraling process. And so, what you want to do to combat that is to connect to the what's next, which is
Got it.
in terms of goal setting. So it may be for the football player still setting the weightlifting goals,
Got it. Got it.
the drill goals. For the volleyball player, it's how many sets can you do, by yourself, hit without missing, or
Okay.
um, so again, it's not the level of intensity, but it's something for them to look at in terms of, well, what's next.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
that could be it. What do you think about uh camping, getting away from the weekend, getting away from the norm? Like, if the
Yeah.
norm is this and you're not getting it, what about getting away and doing something different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so sometimes you have those players that their teammates are their siblings. You
Okay.
know, they may be more connected to their teammates than they are to natural siblings, or they may not have actual natural siblings in the
Okay.
home. And so anything that's going to get that camaraderie
Got it.
back in, and just being with someone, that is it's cathartic, it's healing, it's therapeutic to
Okay.
be in the presence of
Uh,
someone, so even the college students that were coming home because their school shut down and they were struggling, it's getting back into a space where they can have some social connection and things. Because a lot of these kids that I'm dealing with, they're, because of their parents' work schedules, because of monetary restrictions, because of a whole plethora of reasons, they're just cut off now from anything that doesn't have to do with the internet. So any opportunity that one-on-one connection, again, keeping with safety guidelines and such,
right.
um, before you enter in, you know, but it's really important to have that social connection. Yeah.
Wow, I mean, and that's crazy because I think the boys, when I look at the boys with football, it's like they're used to having their guys. They're used to being around there. So are there, I always look at Zoom, there's always breakout rooms, Google Meet, all those things. Would you suggest those things being something that like parents can say, hey, like, because there's a whole group of other kids as well as you talk about that don't play sports,
Hmm.
but they hang around the same lunch tree every week.
Yeah, yeah,
They hang. So like that, the norm for them is, and their social side is when they get to school, we go hang out right here. We go over here. If parents see some different different personalities or things happening with their kid, maybe contacting other parents saying, "Hey, you want to get your kids together and go into this particular chat room and
yeah,
see
yeah, yeah.
how things are going and make that their lunchtime thing every day
Hmm.
or 3 times a week or whatever it may be to really help them in that process." Would that be
Absolutely,
okay?
absolutely. And when you think about just even, social media, friends of friends, and so when someone creates even like a Facebook group to connect parents to their
Uh-huh.
school age children that are, at a particular school, even though they may not know that parent directly, they'll know someone who does know that person. And then they'll be like, hey, did you know that there was a Facebook group for BHS?
Uh,
And then they'll join in that way. And it just grows and grows. And then that's the beauty of social connections, that we can start getting these kids back into, again, having that camaraderie. And it could even be, the kid that stood on the sideline with the water bottles. He was a part. He or she was, they were a part of that whole process, took pride into it, looked forward to it. And so again, to be able to connect, everyone, whether it was the mascot or whomever, y-
right, right.
yeah, just to say,
So so one of those things could be breakout rooms
mhm,
is one. Going away for the weekend, you
mhm.
know, absolutely being something that these guys could actually do.
And the
Okay.
meetups at the park, you could social distance that way,
Okay.
everybody's running up the hill or whatnot, let's meet up there, let's do that.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. I'm looking at a young lady that I met last week, and she was talking to me today about, and tomorrow on tomorrow's show, like I said, this is going to be about the kids and really getting these people, getting the kids going and
Mhm.
help. Um, Lady by the name of Amy Stewart, who has a place here. I want to say the name right. I think it's Zavelle Bakersfield,
Hmm.
and she's talking about float therapy. And
Hmm.
so the boys go for cryo, which is, help them get their bodies back. But we really were talking about maybe adding this. And so tomorrow I'm gonna go and we're gonna go live and I'm gonna talk about some
Yeah.
float therapy because it's the whole mental side of being,
Mhm.
really being at home. And so I want to make sure we give her uh, a shout out.
Zavelle
Oh
Bakersfield,
man, wait, hold on. I'm talking
and she's
about too.
talking about
So I got a little delay. But really, really being able to help that process of giving people alternatives and things to do. I will tell you too, and really want to ask you from this perspective, have you seen COVID help? Because as an adult,
Mhm.
it's helped me complete some projects that I hadn't completed in years. Is it working that way for kids though? Like for adults,
Yes.
I was able to do some stuff that I was putting off. I was too busy. I was this, and it was like, okay, let me get that done. Got it done. Let me get that done. Like, so is it working for kids that way? Because I see there's some adults that have flourished during COVID in their business. They're like, you know what? I'm out of a job. I'm getting this $20,000 from unemployment. I'm going to take 10 of that and start my business. So
Mhm.
for the other side, for some adults, it's been a great thing,
Mhm.
right? In some senses. I think there's some groups that are staying social. Chris, Clayton, and all the fellas are riding bikes now. I see them
Yeah.
riding bikes on Saturday. You know, like, hey man, I
Yeah.
gotta get a bike. I gotta get in it with the, you know. So
Right.
for the adults, it's really worked.
Hmm.
But for the kid, it's like,
Hmm.
hey,
Well, there's a lot of kids out there that are very task oriented. They're just like, just tell me what I need to know and let me get to it and let me just do it. So virtual learning is working for them.
yeah,
You know, they're highly motivated within themselves, and they may even have a bit of attention deficits, that the whole drawn out lesson that they have for 50 minutes in a period, they really kind of only want 15 to 20, and then they're ready to get to it.
right.
And so you're seeing that a lot of it with personality types and such, it's starting to shine forth
Right.
what they kind of gravitate towards. So not all the kids are struggling with virtual learning,
Okay.
but I think that probably what's really key, not every kid is really, of course, really into education. So, so the extracurriculars are what really connected them to the educational process.
Got
And
it.
so when you take away the extracurriculars and it's just the educational process in front of them,
Okay.
again, that connection and that disconnect, the feeling of purpose and why am I doing this, it kind of goes away. So that's why it's really important for parents.
So you gonna talk about me right to my face, because I was that dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm only here and I'm only trying to be eligible to play.
Yes.
Like it's not until my junior year summer going to my senior year that
Hmm.
I realized, nobody was ever, and this goes back to why I have my business and try to do what I do now with a lot of these kids, is that no one was talking to me about qualifying for college until later,
Okay.
right? So I was that guy all day.
Mhm.
Like, what do I need to be eligible? At that
Yeah.
time, a 2.0. What did you need to go to college? A 700 SAT. Well, you bring a 700 home right now and see what happened to you, right?
Right.
2.0, you can't get, like, at that time, that was what it was. It was like,
Yeah.
I was what I call my kids, like, don't be just get by dude. Like
Mhm.
your dad was. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I was 4.0 and whatever. I'm part of that Prop 49, like the last,
Right.
the last scene in Boys in the Hood. Ricky, your test scores. Like I was him waiting on that 705, 17.
Right.
I got in. So
Right.
uh that's the part that I'm like, that kid is struggling.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's no reward on Friday.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Oh, man.
so for those parents that are really like seeking something, like how do I get my kid to log in every day? How do I get them to submit these assignments? I'm going into, parent portal and I'm seeing that they're not doing X, Y, and Z, but where's my leverage? And
Right.
so, by getting in with grouping up with some of these parents to then say, okay, we have a challenge for every day that you log in, it
Right.
goes towards this many points. And,
Right.
and then to again recreate that connectivity. And that's where, as parents, we really have to be right now.
And it's a goal driven orient era of kid.
Mhm.
You and we got beat for not cleaning our room,
Yeah.
whereas they got paid if you do.
Right.
Right? It's like, clean up your room and I'll give you your money. Really?
Right. Right.
Whereas you take this trash out, you clean up this room, or you getting your butt whooped.
Right, right. Do you
And
want to
so,
continue to eat and breathe? Okay, go do that.
and so now we're in such a goal oriented
Mhm.
uh, era with people
Mhm.
and with kids that it's got to be, you
Mhm.
know, I almost lose my mind when the kids, hey, Dad, if I clean up those leaves, what you gonna give me?
Right, right.
So that transitions back to where they are now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what we live in is that it's, you know, okay.
Yeah.
We got some good
Like,
stuff.
just like Mike was telling me today, he was like, he was reminding me he had to create struggles for the kids because there was no struggle.
Right.
And so he was like, okay, in order to get them to function under pressure, he would, mess up their room and say, okay, you got 5 minutes to clean this up, but just trying to create something because we can't recreate what our parents did.
Good old Mike. That's good old Mike thinking about how to create some crisis.
Right.
Tell Mike I got some crisis over here. I need him to come do at my house.
Like
that's good. That's good.
But and again, how do we recreate? How do we do our best to replicate what is being lost?
And you know what? Thinking that's so phenomenal because we all want it. We all want better for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
My sons have, spoiled them rotten. We live, I won't even say 4 blocks. I don't know how far from BHS and Oleander.
Mm-hmm.
They may have walked in 4 years. One of them walked twice, maybe the other one 3 times. And it was because either we forgot, and then my wife felt bad. Oh my God, I forgot them. Man, we live down the street where I don't walk from the bus stop or caught the bus all over LA.
Right.
But my son I remember putting him on the train in LA because it was new. Oh, we gonna get on the train and go to Pasadena because it was new. It wasn't like this is what you're gonna do one day.
Right.
So they don't know about it. So crisis to them now is like, oh my God, everything's a crisis.
Right.
Right? Like they lose it. I can't find my shoes. Like, where are my shoes? Where is it? Like your shoes? Like, really?
Right.
So I get it. And I think this now we have to turn it into a good thing. Like, what are you gonna do? And it's funny because in the beginning of the COVID, me and my wife, we bought a dartboard, and it was like we bought darts, and we got a dartboard in the living room on the other side of the living room, and then we bought the Family Feud game, and we bought Uno cards, and we're like, we're gonna do all of this. And it was like, okay, that's when we thought COVID was gonna only last for like 3 weeks.
Right. Who knew?
That dartboard is dusty. The games are dusty. Like, I don't want to play that. I want to go outside.
Right.
And so that's the battle. That's the battle now. Because in the beginning we thought, I was doing club quarantine with D Nice. I'm like, all right, y'all, let's play this music. Like, I don't want to play on club quarantine. I want to go to the club, go outside.
Right. And and I think that it's very important for parents to keep in mind that this is not a school district, school board driven process.
Got it.
This is truly a process that is coming down from the state and departments of public health.
Got it.
If these numbers aren't where they need to be, the school district's hands are tied. And so the level of frustration that parents are feeling, it really has to be placed somewhere else. And that energy of one of protest has to be redirected into how do I make this better for my kid?
Got it.
During this time, because the school districts can only do what the state is allowing. And the state will only allow based upon these infection rates, positivity rates, death rates, all of that. And hands are just tied. And all us as educators, we're just sitting listening to what's going to be our next. We don't even know from day to day.
Right.
Our higher ups are telling us, we're sending out this email this morning, but by this afternoon, it's going to be something different. Wow. We don't know. We're flying by the seat of our pants as well. So
is anybody making a plan? Is anybody saying, as we watch, is anybody contacting, let's say, the Utah school districts or anybody, Arizona, Vegas, anybody that's playing that have who have comparable numbers to the high school numbers that are in, let's say, Kern County, LA Unified? Like when you say BHS has 3,000 students, 1,200 seniors, right? Or something to that effect, 2,800 students, I don't know what it may be, compared to a school in Utah that's playing. What are you guys doing to play versus what these other guys aren't doing? Like, so you guys can help us create a plan, because we're trying to get out there and show parents that we are trying. What everybody is sitting back now is going, they're not trying. There's no contingency plans. There's nothing going on. I think you have a big divide. You have some teachers that are like, let's go back to work. And then you have another group that goes, I don't want to get sick. I'm not doing it. So that's a division. You have a group of administrators that are in the same sense. So where do you appease the people by saying, let me share with you guys what we've done, what research we've done to try to see where we could do XYZ? Because
I believe it's all been planned out and it's ready to implement when the numbers are right. You know, like right now.
I'm gonna give you something about the numbers.
Okay.
Everybody is hearing all these different things about the numbers, and don't get me wrong. Yesterday, a good friend of mine, brother I grew up with in church in LA, got on live, super frustrated. A friend he hadn't talked to in a while, he opened the newspaper and he saw his friend's name, face, photo, everything in the obituary section of the paper, and he was like, he died of COVID. He picks up the phone and calls, and the guy answers the phone.
What?
And the guy answers the phone. True story. He goes, hey, for just us talking, John, your picture, go get up LA Times right now. Your picture is there, and it says you passed away of the COVID. He gets the paper, he calls, he says, hey, that's my DMV California ID picture. Where'd they get that from? And you know I'm not dead because I'm talking to you right now. So when you hear stories like that, and here in Kern County, when a lady jumps off the bridge here at Olive or whatever, and commits suicide, and it's a suicide, but at the time she did it, she had tested positive for COVID. You added her number to the number. At what point do you think people are going to believe it's what number? Like who? What's what?
So that's a broader problem.
Yeah.
That the school districts aren't tasked with regulating.
No, and it's not your regulation, but when with my passion is who's fighting going, we need to see those numbers the right way. Because if 1,000 of those numbers aren't the right way, and it's the 1,000 that we need to help us go back to school, because you've added everybody who may have passed away from Alzheimer's, from whatever it may have been that didn't have COVID, you just added to the number because it helps you get some more funding and whatever it may be.
Yeah, I would say to an extent, the superintendents of the school districts would be looking at communicating with the departments of public health to see how all of that trickles down. But I would also say that they have such a big undertaking to make sure that everything with each release, with the release of students coming back on campuses, all the different populations, that all of their energy is going to be in putting together proper protocols to regulate and to keep the rate of infection manageable. And so, I do see a lot of protests going on. Like I saw one this week where parents were doing a 1-week blackout from Zoom instruction, virtual instruction, to protest opening schools. but it's like that ball isn't in our court. It's not in the school's court.
Well, make sure those are all A students' parents. If their kid is hovering around a C or D, they need that week.
They
Please
need that week. They really, really do.
don't. If you have a 2.0, you can't black out. You need the bright end. You need that. You can't do that. Heck no.
And
No.
you know, at this point, for my particular school district, you know, we're getting ready to receive some of our populations back, our most needy students. And so the logistics of putting that together, which parents feel safe having their kids on campus, how many classes to prepare for. So much logistical work is going into this whole process that the school districts really just have to put their faith in the people that are regulating the numbers and bringing down, you know, well, right now we're in purple, you know, how do we get to red? You know, how is our local community moving? Because, you know, I've been looking at studies as far away as England.
Wow.
And seeing, you know, just different accounts from school administrators in England taking me through their school day and listening to their account. And even though they're a world away, I still visualize how that plays out on my campus, what it would look like. And so it really, this COVID, it's a very shared experience for all. However, you know, when you look at us and my sister lives in San Antonio, they're all back to school.
Right.
And they are, but their numbers are similar to Bakersfield, to Kern County's numbers, but San Antonio has a population of over 3 million.
Wow.
And their numbers are,
yeah. Okay.
You know.
So it goes back to when people go, is this a good school or is that a good school?
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to people, I go, well, when you say, oh, Stockdale versus BHS or Stockdale versus this school, well, Stockdale doesn't have as many migrant families as this school. So this school has more people who don't speak, they're not bilingual. So when they come to testing, their test scores are lower. But on Great Schools, the website, Stockdale has a 9 and they have a 6.
Exactly.
And if you're going to pick that because of that, you're going to miss that other group of kids at Bakersfield High that's going to go to Stanford, Yale, and go to Ivy League schools. But you're going to look at this school and go, well, they have more. Well, they have more because the numbers are different.
Right.
People with the same numbers that we have, but we only have 386,000 people.
Yes.
So it doesn't add up. And that's the part that's, I think, frustrating for so many parents. So I want to say last question, but close to last question. Let me ask you this. Heartfelt, are we back at school this year?
Ooh. You know, being a school district employee,
Can't say it. Okay.
You know, but I would just say, regardless of how everything goes down and how it all plays out, I would really encourage parents to take a proactive stance. And things may go this way, things may go that way, but how do I keep as much continuity for my child as possible? Because it's so incredibly unpredictable. As you know, my whole family had it in July.
Right.
And I'm listening to something today saying, you know what, there's all the evidence out here to show that you can get it again. You know, I don't want to get it again, but you know, so I've really got to do my due diligence, but because everything is changing so much, you know. At first I was like, oh gosh, I got it over with. Now I don't have to worry about it. And then it's like, oh, you know, it's not this. So it's ever-changing information so the only thing that we can do individually as parents of kids that are very actively involved, how do we take the reins and create a sense of normalcy, a new normalcy for our child?
Got it.
Because we cannot control exactly what's going to happen, because we could go back and then the dates aren't right. And then, you know, then they say, well, it wasn't this many enough days of instruction to start this sport. And then, you know, so then there's all these things that you thought were going to play out and then they don't. And so Meanwhile, your child is doing this. And our kids, again, they're not used to adversity. They're not used to.
Up and down. Yeah, yeah.
So, how do we compartmentalize, keep their normalcy, their connectivity as intact as possible during this time? And not leaving it to anybody else to do. But again, creating that village, that sports parents village, to create the connectivity to each other
Got it.
and keeping them grounded in their social emotional space
Right.
as
Right.
intact.
Man, y'all just don't understand. Gina Gordon, my friend, my sister, I love her to death. She makes you feel better. I really do hope we play.
Yeah.
I hope the kids get back to school, and I hope we play, because I think that would be so devastating. So Mark Sandahl, who's a coach, baseball coach, longtime football coach, great friend of mine, BHS, says, Gina, I have a question. I left the management for a bit, and you may have covered this. How does teachers cope with the new what do you say? It's hard for me to see this down here. Cope with the new exhaustion from spending every second, every period on their computers for every student. Yes, my wife is more tired now than she has ever been, and she teaches. So I'm almost like this, Mark. I am not going to feel sorry for you. You have high school students. My wife has second graders, and they're like this.
Ooh.
She's like, come look at the screen. And somebody's got their screen all the way upside down. Some kid is like literally asleep, and it's second grade. So, but teachers are now exhausted. They're spending every second, every hour on their computer. Not only with students, now they got a teaching meeting. Like, how do you deal with that? How do you? He's asking, how do you think teachers need to cope with that? Because you probably don't even want to look at your screen on the weekend. Grades. I don't even want to look at a computer. You know,
it is so important to create your own personal boundaries. There are going to be times when you have to be on the computer for this scheduled meeting or that scheduled meeting. And working from home now, or even half at home, depending on if you have a hybrid schedule or whatnot, it's just so easy to walk past your workspace at 6:00 in the evening and say, I can be doing this. Right. But then saying, no, I'm not going to.
Right.
Because you have to be fresh and alert and ready for what you're going to take on the next day. And again, even though that workspace is there and it's available and it's easy, and you're thinking, I'm getting a head start on something and I'm not piling up, there's always going to be something. Every minute, there's always going to be another email to answer, another question to answer, another this or that. But you yourself, you have to create your own boundaries or you will burn out. Now, you know, when everybody was still in limbo, are we going virtual? Are we not? Oh gosh, I got to learn how to do Canvas. I got to learn how to do these rooms, these emoji rooms, this, that. And it was all new technology. And yes, you did have to put in that extra time. But now that we're going to be kind of here for a while, it's very important to go the distance, that you put those internal personal boundaries on the time that you're going to spend.
Yeah. Okay. That's keeping it right there. Cause I know, I mean, I literally walked in, I'm in my office probably 7:30, 8 sometimes. And then I'll go home at like 6, 7, 8 at night. And my wife is still like, and I'm like, that's what I do. I do this. This ain't no problem with me. I get off, get back on, you know, topic will come up. I'm like, let me get back on Zoom. Let me get back on Facebook. I do. But for her, it's like, oh, do you, like literally hearing her say, do you want me to contact your mother over screen? Is like, it's crazy. And then having to, you know, it's just a whole lot. And so
Mhm.
And I'm really, really like, you know, uh, I'm praying for the teachers, man. I'm praying for all you
Yeah.
guys because I think, essential workers and how people at first people weren't really thinking about you guys and how tough it was for you guys and how tough it is. And then thinking about professors and oh, I mean, there's a whole nother group of financially where people are going. I am not about paying for college
Mhm. Mhm.
online. If
Mhm.
my kid's gonna do that, they're gonna stay here, go to BC, do some stuff because I'm not paying, you
Yeah.
know, that whole Ivy League group. I mean, a lot of people don't want to know what Ivy League's lost a lot of money because people are like, you got in, but they don't need you doing general ed classes as a freshman at
Yeah.
Harvard at a Harvard price from home.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
a lot has changed. So
So much.
Gina, you have really blessed us. I think the breakout rooms and other things we're gonna talk about. We're gonna get healthy and right so we can have the right crab boil. We turn 50,
Yes.
right? We're gonna make sure that 50 we are healthy. I'm gonna eat more green stuff, which I don't mind right now. I eat too much other stuff.
Love
But
it.
I really want to thank Mike and your family and
Yeah.
uh just praying for you guys and excited that you guys are on. My next hour, I gotta talk about college football and all these guys. They all you're like, yeah, this is great, but when we talk about football, see, they understand we can't play football without Gina telling us what we need to do. So wipe your hands, wash your hands, scrub your body, do all the stuff you need to be clean, man.
And stay connected.
And
Stay connected.
stay connected and call somebody, check on them. One of the things I want to tell coaches and people, check on the kids, call them and say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
they just
Absolutely.
sometimes need to hear you because I've talked to kids that go, I ain't talked to coach.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
the email itself,
Mhm.
is not enough. Like if you have Zoom with some players. What's going
Yeah.
on, fellas?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. So I'm actually gonna be doing some stuff. You'll see it's God can inspirational or motivational sports hour. It's uh stuff that I'm gonna be doing with athletes just for them to click on an email and it's just gonna be like, yo, what's going on? This is Coach D. I'm talking to you guys about this, and I'm just trying to motivate them every day. So I'm gonna get my Eric Thomas on a little bit.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I know you got work to do. Thank you again.
Yeah. It
All
was a
right.
it was a good lunch hour.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good one.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye. That was my girl Gina. Gina G. Want to make sure that we do that. So check it out, guys. I am coming back in the next 30 minutes. I am going to come back, talk to you guys a little bit about college football and what's been going on. I got a ton of phone calls. It's gonna take me about 30 minutes to make. So I'm gonna call these people back uh, and talk to these guys about what's going on in high school football, what's happening in the world, college football, what's happening in the world. So it's time to change the narrative. I'm coming back. I'll see y'all in just a little while, about 30 minutes. I said 1 o'clock. I'm coming back at 12:30. Talk to you then. Deacon, I'm out. I think if I could ever get off of this joint.